Hi, this is Eric Martin. We're Board Game Geek. I'm here with Uli Blendemann with ADC Blackfire, looking at Matthias Kramer's Kraftwagen.
Yes, it's
Kraftwagen. Okay, which I say it's not quite right. Perhaps.
No, it was perfect. Kraftwagen, your pronunciation was excellent. No problem.
Good. I'm officially German now. That's all. That's the citizenship test. It's very easy.
Right.
So there's a new game that's coming out in 2015.
Yes.
And it's set at the time like the birth of the automobile,
right.
Telling that story in a sense, or
yes.
reliving that story. Mm-hmm. What are we trying to do in the game? And here, you mentioned, of course, obviously this is prototype material here. You got a small representation of the game board, which right now is shown a little more in prototype form.
Yes.
But it's good for explaining the game.
Yes, I hope so, at least. So what are the 3 or 4 players doing? They try, like in a lot of games, try to make the most money and winning the game. And you make money by manufacturing cars. But not only manufacturing cars, you have these workshops over here with 4 spots. So you can put in the chassis, the car body in there, or you can have a motor in there, and this is for your Grand Prix, so your racing car. Okay. I get to this a little bit later. And here in the cantina there are your workers, because you really need to manufacture the cars. But you also, and this is of course most important, you have to sell the cars afterwards. Just manufacturing the nicest cars in the world without selling them to buyers over here, of course, makes no sense.
That's right.
So
you're out of business pretty soon.
Yeah, right, absolutely right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what are the different elements of the board that were?
I go through them real quickly. So let's start over here. This is a spot for victory points, which are in effect prize points. Okay. So they are differently colored, because per turn there are 3 game turns in the game. You get potentially more victory points later than earlier.
Okay.
Over here, this is most important. We have 8 buyers, but only in 4 categories. So we have a category, buyers who are looking for the most beautiful car, lots of chrome, very nice cars, and the rest is of secondary importance. Right. These are buyers who are looking for the most powerful cars with a huge engine. That's what they love to see. They are looking for prestige, for a good brand. In modern times you could say Apple
BMW.
iPhone is not really, or a BMW or an iPhone is not really necessarily better, but this has a certain brand name to it. And these are just customers who want the cheapest possible car in the market. But I said there are 4 preferences, 8 buyers, but only 4 will score. So one of the actions is to get buyers into the 4 slots here. As soon as the 4 slots are filled, you cannot get any more buyers for the current game turn for the market. So let's say I'm manufacturing very inexpensive cars. I have a high interest that these price-sensitive buyers are here, so that I can sell my cars to them. So this is this element. This actually is the most important element in the whole game. There are more of these action discs. And this is an element you probably, or some may know from Glenn Moore, same author, Matthias Kramer. And it means that all of these are in a row, and the player also has a marker. And you can basically select any of these, but you advance to that spot, put it at the front, and it could also mean, if you always take the last ones, that you act several times in a row. But these action discs are not of the same value, so they all have at least 1 action, but they could have 2 actions, and there is a single one with 3 actions, which means sometimes you will advance to the top to have several actions at a turn. Here you get additional workers. Here you drive on the Grand Prix track. This is important for marketing. Some people, or you could win in theory by just be moderately successful on the market, but if you have a high prestige at the Grand Prix, you get lots of victory points by winning the races. There's one race per game turn, so 3 races in the game. So this there you drive your car. It's a Grand Prix track. This is a buyer, the Käufer action, where you are selecting a buyer for a spot here. This is motor, because you research the better car body and the better engines, which means at the start you only have a research level of 1 and have a motor value of 1 as well of these. But you can advance up to 7. So this is a car engine of 7. And this would be a Beetle here, would have also a value of 7. So you have to research, and there are research tiles in the game, in the release version of the game. These will be cards, so playing cards, and they are put in here. So here you
motors and models,
and the last one is research. There are always 2 open tiles over here. You select one, the other is discarded, 2 new ones are coming in. So here you get more research points for car body plus engine. Sometimes there are double ones, and it could be instant actions. Sofort, German means instant. That means in this case you get 3 workers for your cantina, but there are also 8 or 9 engineers, famous engineers in the game. This is Horch, German name, Maybach. There's also a Daimler in there, an Opel. Opel, belongs to General Motors, and they have special abilities. All of them are very good in the game and help you in certain ways in the game. So these are the actions. This is most important. These are just award tiles. First player who has completed 1 complete turn gets points. First player who has a car body of 7 gets some points.
Okay.
So that's pretty easy.
But this is the heart of it, which drives everything.
Absolutely. This is the engine. I talked about engines, but this is the engine of the game. It's driven by this action rondelle, or here it is a square. This is the most important part, determining when it's your turn, do I need to advance farther for some special things, or is it good to just advance a couple of spots over here? But then you have more actions in a row, maybe.
Okay. Is there anything else to show you? You had some pictures here?
Yeah, one last thing which I just want to briefly mention. If you have produced a car, you put it in the market here, and it's several elements. You always need a car body, you always need an engine, you need at least one of your workers
to sell it,
salesman, or whatever it is, and then you pick up one of the price markers. If you always pick the high ones, nice if this car is really sold, but of course it's a bad idea if it's not sold. So if you have price sensitive buyers, then you should pick markers which are low value. That is helpful to do. And you see, only 4 of the 6 cars will be sold, because this is the turn end determination.
Okay.
As soon as this market with the 6 cars is full, the game turn ends. Then there is the scoring. You score the cars here plus a Grand Prix, and your new turn is immediately begun.
Okay.
And this is in a nutshell. Yeah.
Okay. And then after 3 rounds,
there is no points. Final scoring. You simply do the last turn scoring, and you see who has the most points, either in these award tiles, most probably in the standard price tiles, will win the game.
Okay. And then these here are just showing the card art.
Yes, so this is a card art. Of course, the format will be much smaller. It will be about this size here, and it tells you this is a Bugatti 41, and it has it's a car of research value 4. This is a Beetle again. With 7, it's very late in the game, of course, and this is a Mercedes pretty early in the game. It's the BMW Dixie. Yeah. And this is a Graf, so a company that does not exist anymore. And I think there are more than 40 cars in the game.
Right.
And these are the buyers, of course enlarged. These are price buyers, so value of 2 here, which will be over here.
Well, this is for the convention version of the game.
Yes.
You're playing on
Right.
the floor, obviously.
Right.
You can do this. All right. Well, thanks for the overview, Uli. Anything we didn't mention? I think we got everything here.
I think this is it in
Overview,
a nutshell. It's not a really complex game, but it's in Germany you would say it's a game that is aimed at Kennerspiel des Jahres.
Right.
So not ultra complex, but in my opinion it's not, in German terms, a family type game.
Right.
75 minutes to 90 minutes to play it, and 3 or 4 players.
All right. Thanks very much for the overview.
Thank you very much.